Hello and welcome back to Hoi 4, Equestria War, the Griffonian Empire, the Duchess, Gabriel, Eagleclaw. And now, we're like, feeling stable, things are going good in the war front, our troops are just pushing, everything's going well. Let's read these events that I haven't been reading at all. Nationalized northern industry. The concubation consisting of the cities of Mirabel, Redwetter, and Duchess was the biggest industrial center of Strawberry and Frederica. Now with these lands under imperial rule once more, is the biggest industrial center in the Heartsland. We must negotiate these newly gained industrial assets to use them to our advantage. Right, that's fine. Nobody cares. No more trade princes. The coastal provinces of Skyfall are dominated by merchants and trade princes who hold a large amount of power over local infrastructure and industry. With regained control over the area, it is time to break the oligarchy and nationalize their assets in the name of the Emperor. Repair the Skyfall Herzstrassen. The Skyfall trade port is the biggest in all of Griffonia. It was once the Emperor's crown jewel when it came to naval power. Now we have regained control over Skyfall and its valuable ports. It's time to renew them and show the world our maritime prowess once more. Speaking of maritime prowess, more ships. Because you always need more ships. And doing that one gave us this. With Griffonia's largest trade port once more firmly under our control, trade can flow through the Empire at last. Good for you. Designated industrial zones. By designing industrial zones, we can incentivize rapid growth of industrial centers and companies all around the Empire. It will also be easier to control them should we have a need for the economy to go in a direction we desire. And that gave us designate industrialization. Our newly formed industrial zones are having a positive effect on efficiency and productivity, giving their all for the Empire. We got agricultural aid. Through the system of feudalism and serfdom, agriculture has always been the Empire's specialty. However, our outdated agricultural sector cannot hope to compete with industrialized nations. Within governmental incentives, we can aid our farm estates and allow them to modernize their production methods. I mean, that's not true. We're able to keep up pace with anyone. In fact, we are the pace at this point. Agricultural mechanization. First, we gotta, actually, we should, build up within our land that we're taking so that it can, be easier to continue taking. We get, agricultural mechanization. Who is to say that industrialism and agriculture can't aid one another? By adding machines to our agricultural sector, we can mechanize and automize a large chunk of the process, greatly improving productivity and increasing migration from the countryside to the cities as the need for workers on the farms drops. We also got the breadbasket of Griffonia. Though our dedication to the agricultural sector, we have renewed prosperity on the countryside, and our citizens once again live without fearing hunger. There's enough food for everyone, and plenty more left over for export. Bratkorp. 3 meals per day for every Griffin in the Heartsland. With no Griff lacking basic subsistence, let the grain flow. And now we're working on the Imperial Economic Miracle. Despite our city's critics' worst intentions, we have made it. The Empire has not only recovered from the economic depression, but has soared high into the sky towards economic prosperity. Truly, we are restoring the Empire to its former glory in every way possible. And, yeah, we're definitely restoring in every way possible, because while we're, creating an economic miracle that will last for generations, we are also getting close to just defeating the changelings. Sure, we'll race for the bomb. We might as well before you're gone. Sure, we'll get one extra building slot. Why not? The Siege of Frax. This day marks the end of the Siege of Vrax. After surrounding the area had been captured, the massive hive city was put under siege. Queen Christus resolved to not pull out the city's many citizens in an effort to spur the changing army to fight harder against the enemy. This had only made the battle more costly, as the changelings resorted to using gas attacks at close range to give any advantage they could muster in the close quarters urban combat. With Griffon forces clad in gas masks and armed with baton and shotgun, they moved through the barracks and bunkers until the last pockets of changing resistance were crushed, and the massive hive, once buzzing with life, lay as silent as the frozen fields of the north. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Now we're getting close to their capital. They're losing cities. This is going pretty dang well. I mean, my entire army is destroyers, so I don't actually care about I don't care about light hull, cruiser, heavy ship, carrier, submarine. So in that case, I think I'm just going to get the convoy production cost. Why not? Das Griffonian Empire! After years of careful economic reform and industrialization, we've entered a new age of prosperity. Production is at an all-time high in the decades, and our people are truly satisfied with their lives. So yeah, we're not doing expensive but reliable. We must spare nothing on our armada. Not only does it protect our important trade lanes, but it also tells the world of imperial wealth and prestige. Additionally, ensuring our shipbuilders receive the latest technology and best materials will go a long way towards giving each ship a long service time, even if it costs us more in the short term. We're going cheap and quick. To properly achieve our objectives, our fleet must be all present and numerous. There will be no safe haven for our foes, nor lack of barrages from our warships. But to achieve this advantage in numbers, our ship designs will have to cut on the frivolities, focusing entirely on producing as many as possible in the same time span. Woo! I mean, changelings, if you just let me take my colony, none of this would have happened. I could have had my little colony up here. You could have had the majority of Equus. We could have been neutral to each other, and it would have been fine. But you couldn't have that, could you? The fall of Vasilpolis. The tall spires of the changeling capital are aflame as Griffonian forces secure their control of the Hive City. Queen Chrysalie reportedly fled as the enemy approached and ordered the local garrison to fight to the death. Citizens were forbidden from leaving the city and would be accused of high treason if they did. This means that despite the best efforts of the Griffonian Empire, civilian casualties could not be avoided, especially as the defenders used civilians as shields or forced them to fight. After a brief but fierce serve in combat, the garrison surrendered, and the Griffonian flag was raised atop the badly damaged and burning Great Queen's Tower. Victory is near. Hope lives. Yeah, you guys could just keep pushing, having fun. I'm not really worried about what you guys are doing. Oh, I don't know why you guys are just sitting on their border. That kind of, I did not tell them to do that, but I'm, you know, not gonna tell them not to do that now. Look, it's a threat to keep. If they join the war, they will be killed too. It's just, you know, making sure they know what's up. Yeah, I'm not gonna be doing our changeling friends. But we got the naval cost-saving measures. The requirements of building old naval glory mean that certain traditions and materials have to be set aside. As a result, ships will not look particularly aesthetic or perform properly under the most dire circumstances. But a steady number of replacements should alleviate those issues. And we are currently doing the Reichswehr expansion plan. The Imperial Army has attained much of its officer corps, even after the events of 978, but is considerably smaller in size than before and has fallen behind in terms of equipment and organization. Reconquest of the breakaway nations of Griffonia will only be possible with a modern, expanded army, worthy of the Empire. No, I'm fine. I don't need stuff from you. Oh, I'm building nuclear bombs now without just because they built nuclear reactors. I haven't built any myself. We just took the reactors from them and we're like, hey, we know how to use these. Oh wow, we're out of infantry equipment. Okay, got it. Well, in that case, boom. Like, go ahead and have like 80 more factories on infantry equipment. Alright, they're on the verge of collapse. Fine, I'll lower the amount I'm doing even more. And we've done it. Yeah, rename those. That sounds cool. And we can build stuff. But now that we've completely defeated them, I think I'll see you back in a good long while, as we have defeated our final major enemy, and we have no political tree left, at least for the moment. So, I'll see you back in a bit. And we are back. Okay, so it's the day after. I've spent, 5 years? During this time period, I did clean up some. I made them into a puppet. I conquered this area up north. I conquered them. I took over this island. Very important. I took over the north, and the Equestrian people just demanded that they be united. So we had to conquer them, of course. But now we are back to this series. And you know why we have returned? Do you know? It's because it's time for a grand coronation. Today marks a new chapter in the history of the Griffonian Empire. On this bright and sunny morning, Grover the Fifth, heir to the throne of the Empire, actually I think that might be 6, but whatever, was crowned emperor in Griffonstone, the traditional coronation city of the Grovers, following a short speech by the now former regent, Duchess Gabriella, where she condemned the nobles of the past who refused to crown Grover the Fifth. The emperor himself took the stage and spoke to the empire's future prospects. Friends, my people, our past years, the years of my childhood, have been long and difficult. We have been made to fight, militarily, economically, and psychologically, against all odds, and all those who would threaten our way of life. But today is not a day of war. Today is a day of success and peace, of victory and serenity. Today marks the end of our past, and beginning of a bright future. The Empire's returned, and together, friends, we shall lead Griffonia into a new golden age, an age of peace and prosperity. Woo! Yay! Have Grover reach full age and become emperor. We've done it. Okay, I was about to say, I don't think we're missing any steel, but sure, whatever. I actually got so many infantry equipment that it, overflowed and was telling me my garrisons needed, infantry. So I'm no longer building any infantry equipment, because it literally overflowed. And if I make any more, I will not be able to actually use it. I know, crazy, right? But here we are, chilling. And yeah, we'll once again be back in a bit. Just a bit. Just a wee bit. My goodness, what is this? The March of the Students. The Emperor recently came of age and is ready to rule his reunited empire, but it is clear we must immediately get to work. Young students of a new generation, more well-educated and conscious than their parents, are calling for peace and freedom across the empire. Throughout their life, they have known nothing but war, with mass conscription and strict military production quotas. Now they are tired of it, and dream of a peace that is maintained, and a society that is demilitarized. While the old guard it consists of with Republican sympathizers, the truth is that most of them see the benefits of imperial rule and simply want reform, and they want it now. Today, thousands of griffins, if not tens of thousands of them, gathered in Griffonheim from all across the empire. Most of them were students, but there were government personnel among them as well. They began something that had not been seen to the imperial city since 978, a mass protest. However, it was not a riot, but a peaceful demonstration, with protesters calmly holding signs with slogans and calling for liberty, regional autonomy, and reform of the state and the temples. Yet some among them were more radical and tried to sway others to take their side with fiery speeches. Several clashes with local police could not be avoided, but in general it was entirely peaceful. News has spread like wildfire, and smaller protests have already sprung up in support of Griffonheim, one in many imperial cities in Griffinstone, Skyfall, Aquilia, Carthan, Cloudbury, and others. It is clear that His Majesty Grover VI cannot ignore this movement. Above all, the students demand an end to the dictatorship, which means maintained under the rule of the imperial regent. If Grover VI simply continues to act like a despot of old, it is not out of the question that the horrors of 978 are repeated. Either way, he will have to make appeasements. The question is, how far should he go? This time, the decision is entirely his to make, and he cannot delegate it to his regent. The fate of the empire is in his claws. So we'll get stability, war support, and political power minus. We'll get some negative effects from student protests, and we'll get some more harmony and communism support. Sounds great. I like that, you know? No, I don't wish to annex them. A regent's retirement. The day has come and passed. Grover VI of his lineage sits on the imperial throne as a full-fledged ruler by his own right and legitimacy. Now Gabriella's time as regent has come to end. Undoubtedly, there would be a sincere sinecure given later on, but her thoughts were primarily concerned about returning to her state and read wetter, and finally be free of endless responsibilities and sycamore nobles. Perhaps she would write a book about her experiences for future emperors to consult, but first she would meet Grover in his room. It would be impolite to keep your betters waiting, family or not. As Gabriella opened the ornate doors to the emperor's room, Auntie, it's so good to see you again. Her nephew exclaimed happily. He had gone a long way from a meek chick with his beak in the books. Even with her failing sight, Gabrielle could see how he had grown up and succeeded. Indeed, it is the same for you, my dear child. I wanted to see you one more time before I depart from Griffonheim. It is a shame you won't be staying around. Is there anything that would convince you to stay? I think I've had enough of this city for a lifetime, nephew. My graying feathers could attest to that, at least. It's just that I could still use your advice, Auntie. The responsibility is much more taxing than I imagined. I have to be aware of the ongoings in every part of Griffonheim and beyond, and decide on matters that will impact thousands of griffins. Gabriella suppressed the urge to roll her eyes and led her nephew to the balcony. Look at your city, my child. The people adore you and respect you. They trust you to rule wisely and bring forth an age of peace and prosperity. No more wars, no more strife. Everything we have done this far was for you, and it was very much worthwhile. The emperor leaned on the railings and pondered for a second. So it is, Auntie. I will ensure every Griff can live together regardless of their cultural origins. No Griff should fight his kin, and we shall all enjoy the culmination of our efforts. The former regent said nothing as she stood behind her nephew, the pair watching together the setting sun descending behind the beaks of Brutbeak. Thank you for everything, Auntie. Times are changing. I've also completed all these, and all these. I've weapons. Boom. I haven't actually done these. That one, I forgot about that. I have so much strength and no one to fight that I basically just was like, I'm just gonna get all the pluses. But I think this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. In the next, we will see the path that our emperor takes, and where this will lead our glorious nation to a more calm path, or keeping things how they are. For now, times are changing. His Majesty has come of age and must immediately undergo a challenging trial as the students march on the streets and demand reforms. Order must be restored, but it is up to the Emperor to desire how it will be done. and we will see how he does it in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.